IVM.
Hey guys, even though Elon Musk is trying to turn everyone into robots, you'll be happy to know that very real human beings work at IVM Podcast, and some of them are even cool. How do I know? Well, listen to their own podcast, IVM Likes, where they recommend what they are listening to, watching, or reading. Catch IVM Likes every Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And may I recommend the IVM Podcasts app. Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of the Geek Podcast. There are no guests here, it's only family. Jishnu, Dinkar, and myself, Tejas. Hi guys.
Hello, family.
Hello.
How do you all do?
What are we now? Like at least 3 months every episode where all of us are here?
Yeah, it's like one of those eclipse scenes.
Man, is
Sometimes
this...
the stars align.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, and why have we aligned here today?
We've
What is the
chosen to-
masterpiece that all three of us could not avoid? We had to be here in the studio at the same time. Tell us, what are we discussing today?
We're discussing Venom. The world has enough superheroes.
Is that the...
That's
Is
the
that
tagline.
Is that really the tagline?
Yes.
I love how he always
Venom.
knows this.
The world has enough superheroes.
I thought the tagline was Venom. We are Venom.
that's the catchphrase as opposed to the tagline. There's a distinction.
I'm going to check this out. Remember IMDb used to have taglines?
Oh, right.
I think
yeah.
it still does. I'm going to check this out while
I
you
mean,
guys
did you not see
discuss
the
why-
trailer where there's like stuff happening and goes like the world has enough. I'm like, I know where you're going.
Did you
Just
guys-
get to it?
did
No,
you
it
guys
should have been
see-
the world has had enough.
Did you guys see all the trailers?
There were
No,
two, right?
I saw the
second
first one
I
that
think.
came out.
Yeah, I saw the very first one that came out months ago.
Right.
And then I
And
knew
then
it was going to do
zilch.
more harm than good by
You
watching
still
more.
did not know anything about the movie going in, I suppose.
No,
because
I didn't know a thing.
I'm not familiar with the character. I'm not familiar with anything.
This
about it.
entire adventure that Sony's embarked on of creating the Spider-Man universe minus Spider-Man is already pretty surreal to start with.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, have you ever seen Garfield minus Garfield?
What
Is that a thing?
It's
What's
a-
just
It
OD?
must be...
It's a grumpy suburbanite and
Yeah.
his dog.
Yes, it actually is. So
And-
it's a
and
webcomic.
lasagna that
It's a
does
webcomic
not get
that this
eaten.
guy started where he would take Garfield and scrub Garfield out of them, and somehow this like super compelling, like pathetic picture of John started emerging. Like he's just a lonely guy who always talks to himself.
That's so sad.
Because he was like Garfield stuff is in thought bubbles anyway, so he's not talking. So it's
No,
just
but-
it's the most
Oh, yeah.
surreal, sad.
But he does communicate
piece
with
of art.
Normal. Normal?
Who's the
The
normal?
cat? The other cat?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I forget.
But they also thought bubble each other.
This is true.
But you know, honestly, I would watch the... Did you watch the TV show? The cartoon?
Garfield?
Yeah.
No.
So-
I'm more of
Oh.
a Heathcliff child.
More of a Rido.
Did you get the
we're all
cartoon?
family here. Let's not tell lies.
Did you get the cartoon in dubs?
The Garfield cartoon? I don't think so.
No, we got Marmaduke.
Oh.
No, but that was
Yeah,
in the...
I got
that was in the
Marmaduke.
I
funnies.
distinctly remember Heathcliff.
Do you not?
Yeah.
Did you not?
Felix, there was a movie.
Yeah, I watched the show. I didn't see the movie.
That was a good
But
Game
did you
Boy
guys
game
see,
also on
Did you
Felix.
guys see the... What was it called? There was a...
The Bill Murray movie you're talking about.
No. The Garfield
Oh, yeah.
cartoon
There
on
is a
Cartoon
Bill Murray
Network
movie.
had another cartoon that was part of the 30-minute show. It was
Oh.
like farm animals.
What?
I forget what it was called. It was really fun. That's what I would really watch it for. Garfield was cool and I like Garfield, but there was this thing with like a pig and other farm
like-
creatures.
Like,
So, like-
George Orwell's
What was it
Animal
called?
Farm?
Damn it.
Were they all commies?
This anecdote would be a lot better if I knew what I was talking about.
Okay, I'm going to say something here. And
Huh.
I think Garfield doesn't work outside the comic strip.
Garfield minus Garfield is hilarious. And Garfield outside the comic strip doesn't work.
It doesn't work in visual medium, like moving motion.
Well,
But you haven't
are
seen the show.
Are you talking about the
I've
movie
seen
where
the
he becomes a
cartoon.
3D,
You have seen it.
a
Okay.
monstrous 3D creation?
Voiced by
God.
Bill Murray, yeah.
You know how, like, Bill Murray maintains that he saw the movie is directed by a guy called Joel Cohen.
Yeah.
And he saw that and he thought
And
it
he
was
thought, oh no.
he was like, I heard about these Cohen brother guys, and I was like, nice, one of them striking out on his own. I want to do this
my
movie.
God. That's amazing.
So when
This is
he
what
just
happens when you
turned
hang
up
out-
to the VO studio and went like, wait, what are we doing?
This is what happens when you hang out too much with Wes Anderson.
This
Like,
is what
yeah.
happens when you're Bill Murray. He still doesn't have a phone. Nobody knows how to get in touch with him.
You have to go to his house, obviously, where he pretends to not be a zombie.
Jesus Christ.
Until
gosh.
and then he dies.
Yeah, and then he dies.
So I saw Venom alone. I wonder if
how did
anybody
you-
else on this
how
planet
did you
did
watch
that.
it?
Did you see it
What?
with?
Did you watch it
in
with
the company of
company?
people?
I watched it with people, yes.
So did I, yeah.
I would be amazed if anybody else
I'm sure
chose to watch
someone
this movie
has.
by themselves.
Someone must, maybe Spider-Man, because he's not in the movie, and he was like, oh, I guess I'm going to watch this movie. I'm
Dude,
not in it.
I watched this with friends and we thoroughly enjoyed the laughs.
Okay.
The
All right,
laughs were...
Can we do this?
And I'm not
Hang on,
talking
hang
about
on.
the movie's comedy.
Sure. No,
Which it tries.
Let's do this.
All right.
I suspect I like this movie twice as much as you guys did.
Okay, I'm going to give my take.
Because you're possessed by a symbiote.
This movie was like trash to like another universe. My God, it was
that's what
trash.
I thought. 20 minutes into it. All right, I'll put you like this. I texted you guys, right? Like I was running late for the movie, and I'm not the kind of guy that would do that. I'm never late for a movie, and I just didn't give a damn about this movie.
But that's why you enjoyed it.
But that's the other thing.
I didn't give much of a damn either, but I still didn't
So
enjoy
when
it.
I went into it, right, I missed like maybe the first 5-7 minutes of it. I walked in right as they say, "Have a nice life" for the first of 20 times. So
We're spoiling this. Sorry,
yeah,
if anybody
we're
is
gonna
listening,
spoil
we're
the
gonna spoil
entire
this
thing.
guy.
So
Yeah.
heads up.
Yeah.
But 20 minutes into it, I had a feeling that people aren't going to like this movie. Yet I also found myself really enamored by Tom Hardy's character. I found myself really digging it. And then the first, like, maybe 60% of the film I thought was really, really good. And then once, like, Venom became full-blown Venom, and then it was just, like, action movie of, like, destroying things, I was like, okay, now...
Oh my
now,
God, I may
now
have
now
had the
plot's
exact
gone.
opposite reaction.
Oh,
to
yeah?
this.
Yeah, let me say this. Tom Hardy was spectacular. The
Okay.
dude is having the time of his life. He looked like he was on an amusement park ride.
Yeah.
He was like, let's do this.
All right, I think Tom Hardy was bad in this. Okay,
What?
I think he was bad. I think Riz Ahmed was absolutely shite.
Oh,
in
he
this.
was not good.
Yeah.
He's not a villain. He
But
can't
then
pull it
again-
off. He's a good actor. Like, I mean, we loved him in Rogue One, right? He's great. But this is the biggest misfire when it comes to casting, like, overall. I think only Michelle Williams does a good job.
Why?
Like, but I know, we should have one voice.
I loved Eddie Brock.
I mean,
Eddie Brock was
I
great.
thought
Yeah,
he
Michelle
was
Williams
great.
didn't
But,
have
like, what
anything
was
to do.
he-
She was fine.
Yeah, but what was
But
Tom
also,
Hardy doing
like,
in this movie? Like, as in, like, in the sense
He
that...
was chewing scenery.
One second, he's chewing
Quite
scenery.
viciously.
Like, that's it, okay? There's no real arc for this character. He's trying to do his best, but he doesn't have, like, a defined... Like, what is his accent? What is his style? What is his...
He's
who
from
is
New
this guy?
York.
Why is he this buff dude? No, there's no New York accent in that
Sorry,
accent.
that's
It's like a...
New York.
Yeah, New
He's
York.
from New York.
Okay, he's this buff dude who's like
He's
Billy
walking
on the
here.
street. Okay, but you know, like, what the was this movie? Okay, every scene from the beginning to the end is just like so done and dusted. Okay, like, okay, check it out. She starts the movie. Yeah, man, I'm a reporter. I'm Eddie Brock. It goes to the guy from Luke Cage, and Luke Cage like,
That's
that
more
guy's-
Jersey than
that
New
guy-
York, but
and that
fine.
guy goes like, hey man, Eddie, you can't push the boundaries, man. You know you can't just, we gotta keep within the system. And he's like, yeah man, I know, but he does it anyway, because he's a reporter. And then he gets fired for that, and then he loses his girl, and then he gets drunk.
Immediately,
Oh
she
my
just
God.
walks out with that,
Yeah,
with
it's
the box,
done.
which is not a thing, by the way.
Wait, what? Who?
In any
Employee,
American
yeah.
like pop culture, like movie, TVs, whatever,
There's a box.
Oh,
that
yeah,
you walk
the-
out with
the-
when you're
the
getting
I got fired box.
The
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
fired box. Why is that still a thing?
It's not a
She's
thing.
walking out with an I got fired box. She sees him and goes like, "Well, thanks, Eddie."
And
It's
then,
over.
and she stops their relationship.
Yeah.
They're engaged. And this is over by this one thing.
Like,
Like-
she didn't even ask him about it. Like,
And-
did you do that?
And like, it's, yeah,
She just
exactly.
went like, because
You
of
know
what you
One
did.
second, and he goes to interview like Riz Ahmed, right? And he just asks him like, "Oh, cool, controversial question. Oh, you can't do this interview." That's it. Like, that's all that he does. That changes his entire life.
So here- okay,
he
wait.
sneaked
Hang on.
confidential documents is what changes his entire life.
No, he does.
Oh,
I mean,
is that
he
what it is?
reads
He does.
it. He reads and asks
It
the
says
questions about it.
confidential. He opened his girlfriend's email. Not cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I missed all this, right?
This was in the
so
first
when,
5 minutes.
No, so when I see...
That's how the movie starts.
So when I see Michelle Williams saying, oh, because you did a thing, I don't know what the thing was, you did a
Nothing.
thing.
Jishnu,
see,
nothing.
See,
He
I
opened
assumed...
her emails and then opened a confidential work attachment and then used that information in his career.
One
I'm on
second.
Michelle's side here.
First of all, okay, yeah.
First of all, don't open the email.
Okay, not even redacted, first of all. Okay, okay, just random documents that he reads.
Yeah.
Fine, okay, he shouldn't have done it. But like, end the relationship. They've been together for so long.
Should ask a question
See, okay.
at least.
Now look, that's the thing. That's my point. I think because I missed this opening, I assume that when she says, I'm done with you,
One
it's like,
second.
damn, you broke his heart because you're a bad guy. But then I see all this remorse in his face. And he's like,
Nothing.
I'm just going to get drunk and be sad. I was like, oh, I feel bad for you.
Oh, he's a
Nothing
good guy.
happens.
Therefore, I'm rooting
Dude,
for the guy.
nothing happens.
So, look, I'm
He doesn't
saying
do
this movie is
anything.
better if
He
you watch less
did.
of it. Guys,
He did a thing.
guys, no, listen, just watch less of this movie and you will like the movie more.
Guys, this movie is so bad. It is like one of the poorest films I've seen
It
this year.
feels-
And I'll tell you, okay,
I
one
was
second.
so surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I would give it
Oh.
a solid 8 on 10.
Oh, what?
I really enjoyed it.
No,
I would
this
give
is
it a solid-
4 or 3 best. Okay, and here's the other thing. Okay, you know how this movie starts, right? Of friggin'
Give us
spaceship
a
comes-
rating on a scale of Saw 1 to 7.
yeah, that's the thing.
2.
It's a Saw. It's a Saw
It's a Saw
7,
2.
dude.
It's a solid Saw 2, man.
It's a Saw 2. Saw 2 is not bad.
It's a Saw 2.
Wait,
Okay.
so you'd give it an 8 on 10 too?
Yeah, it's a fun ride.
It's a fun
Well,
ride.
I'll
not
go
at all.
7.
It's not at all a fun.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm somewhere
it's-
within like
okay,
a 7.
let
What
me
are
put
you
it this way.
expecting from this
One second.
Spider-Man without Spider-Man
so,
movie?
1 second. What? It's too much to expect a decent like adaptation of a beloved
It
superhero
feels
That's the
character?
thing. That's the thing again, guys. Like, you know too much.
What?
You're thinking too much when you're watching it because you have the source material. I went in blind and I had
No,
nothing. I
what
was just
source
like,
material? I I've read a
Right?
comic before. Like,
yes,
it
you read a
happens.
couple. It's only your favorite comic, as you mentioned a million times.
Spider-Man is my favorite.
Which he is very
And this
much a
arc
part
is-
of.
yeah, this arc is
so
one of the best.
therefore, my point
No, but
being,
my thing
because
is-
I watched less in the movie, because I knew nothing about it, I was just like, oh, here's Tom Hardy,
No.
and he's going through a tough
Did you
time.
know the reasoning-
Oh, he's an alien now. Oh, that's kind of weird.
There are
It was
countless
fun
ways.
up until the alien came in.
No,
that's
in
what I'm
fact,
saying.
the movie
when
gets-
the movie was just Tom
the movie
Hardy, I
gets
was like,
incredibly
great, Tom
better
Hardy.
the moment Venom comes in because Venom at least has some character.
Absolutely, yeah.
Has some
I
character.
agree there. Venom is amazing.
Yeah, he's good. Like, I enjoyed watching him. But like, okay, let's go to that car chase, okay? Well, the bike chase.
yeah.
He's on the bike chase that scene is at least 15 minutes long.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay? And like, every time it's like, oh, what is he gonna do now?
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna use the Venom stuff. The
Yeah,
symbiote.
right.
I was like, after 10 minutes, I was like, dude, you're beating me in the head with this
Yeah,
idea.
that's what I mean. Like,
was
once Venom came in, I was like, okay, I get
no,
what you
but
can
that
do,
was
which
not
is
Venom. That was still until he turns into Venom. I'm talking about, like, you know, the main, like, the character of Venom, not
Sure.
like.
But I started losing interest the minute.
Yeah,
The minute
but that bike
things
chase was
started
the worst.
extending.
Okay, the villain
Really
is
bad.
the worst.
Yeah.
Terrible action.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is this villain supposed to be?
He's
And
right.
then every time he's just like, wow, this is so amazing that they're doing these things.
So here's the other thing. Speaking of the villain, so
There's
since
like a
Spidey
couple
was
of
missing from
siblings
it, right?
fighting.
Since Spidey was missing from it, we were all wondering what is Venom going to fight. And then the minute he's like,
Another Venom.
There's more Venoms where that came from. I was like, well, damn.
Precisely.
That's
I love
boring.
the
AF.
moment when he goes like, that one's Riot.
It's
I'm
the
like,
same-
You guys already have
Have
like your
names.
anglicized names ready.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing as kind of like it's the same problem as like Iron Man 1. Who's Iron Man gonna fight? Iron Man,
Big Iron Man.
Bigger.
bigger and bolder.
Yeah, this is
You're
what George.
just like, why?
This is
Like,
what
nobody
George
cares about
R.
that.
Martin has said countless occasions. He's like, I hate when superhero movies have the exact same version of the
Yeah.
superhero as the villain because then, but you want to see different powers interact, which is why Game of Thrones is so exciting. But like, especially this movie, they look pretty much exactly
Yes.
the same. Okay.
One is a slightly grayer version.
Yeah, and he's got squarer eyes. That's
does he?
it.
Oh, I didn't even
yeah,
notice that.
but like my point is like my favorite part of this movie is when Venom is just like so I've decided to stay on this planet. You see, because I'm also quite a loser.
Yeah,
on my
that's
back.
just
I
great.
love
I thought
that.
that was,
That was
that was so
hilarious.
funny. And you know
Yeah.
what? There was something in that one line that could have been the entire movie. But they didn't. They had to make it an action movie. I was like, make this a comedy or make it like a buddy cop
so
kind of thing.
They did that in the middle, right? And
But
I thought
like-
that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it was the best part of the movie. But like, so few bits like that, man. And I was like, what a waste of an opportunity. Because Venom is actually pretty cool. The graphics will never be insane. It was not motion capture. It's
were
also
okay.
cheesy.
They weren't
It's
terrible.
alright.
But I did really enjoy the spectacle. Just that one moment when the two Venomses were fighting and that freeze frame thingy. You know what I mean?
It is impressive.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Like that was
It
a
was
cool
like-
visual.
you know
but,
what I feel like?
But every part of that fight on the rocket where the two guys were fighting, I was like, too much, guys.
Yeah.
I can't.
Also,
no,
what
Stop.
the
Slow
fuck is the
down.
plan? What they're taking this rocket? Where are they going?
Yeah.
And so 1 second,
They're
he's
going back to the
suddenly-
comment they
one
came
second,
from.
stop. Okay, stop. He's back in this Life Foundation lab thing. Okay, and he's just like, where is the Venoms? And okay, somebody's gone, and now he's become one of those guys. Okay, he's a symbiote, and then like suddenly he's in a mission control, and he's like, we're launching the rocket. What rocket?
Yeah, where does it
Who
come
is
from?
this rocket?
Why
See, this
did
is
Riz
why did
want
you
that?
come
This
here?
is again. I'm totally with you. The villain sucked. This plotline
Okay,
sucked.
this
But I
movie-
assumed
Let
at the
me
very
explain
beginning.
something here.
I
This is
assumed at the
important.
beginning that this was mentioned.
Yeah.
Because I know I missed like a spaceship landing or
It
some
was
shit like
not
that. So I was like,
mentioned.
there's a rocket, but I'm guessing
It
it's
is,
part of
but
this.
it's so poorly delivered.
Okay,
man.
okay, wait.
Clearly,
Let me
okay.
explain the plan from Riot's perspective. Riot crash lands
Oh, his
on
name
Earth.
is Riot.
Yeah, the villain.
villain.
I never got it.
Riot, the
I couldn't. I
symbiote.
was like, what are you saying?
Riot, the symbiote crash lands on Earth.
All right.
Immediately inhabits an 80-year-old lady's body.
In East Malaysia.
Yeah.
Why?
Sticks with that for 6 months.
By the way,
He can change bodies, but
interjection.
he stays with the
Wait,
lady,
no.
takes a flight to...
Teacher, interjection.
Yeah.
Because I missed the beginning again. I didn't know what country we were in. That
Oh.
Asian country. I was trying to guess. Are we in Singapore? What is this? I
It
can't
must
tell.
actually even
East
I don't
Malaysia
remember.
is good to know. Yeah.
It was in why East?
I think it was Malaysia.
A
I might
subtitle
be
comes
wrong.
on screen. East Malaysia. I'm like, what the fuck? Why?
So he stays. He can change bodies, right? Like he can take the buffest guy and go
Right.
like, I'm in your body. He sticks with the old lady.
Yeah.
Takes a flight.
Yeah.
Lands at the airport. And at this point, 6
Goes
months
to-
later,
yeah.
immediately ditches that body and goes to a little girl. The one
Yeah.
weaker person you could find on Earth.
No, and everyone who has a visa, and first of all, and makes it to the States, no ice, nothing. Okay.
Explain Riot's.
Well, I like
hang
cough
on.
in an airport, I'll get frisked twice.
Riot's
This
MO.
lady's trudging
Why
through the
is-
thing like a zombie. It's like
When-
any check-in luggage.
When
luggage
Riot
van.
lands in East Malaysia, why is Riot trying to get to the San Francisco?
Okay, see, I'll explain the plot. Just the
Because
beginning
he
part
wants
of
to
it.
get to the Life Foundation.
No. Okay, one second.
So did they come to Earth knowing about Riz
No,
Ahmed?
they didn't come
They're like,
to
sir,
Earth.
I'm a big
Okay.
fan of your work.
This is done in literally
Your work
10
with
seconds
teams.
of 10 seconds of exposition does this thing, okay, where they're saying there was a shuttle that went to explore space and shit like that because
Right.
they're trying to live on other planets.
Sure.
It collides or gets really close to a comet.
Yeah.
The symbiotes are found on this comet.
Right.
And they bring back 3 samples.
Uh-huh.
The 3 samples get on Earth. One goes to that old lady, one goes to Venom, Eddie Brock, and one goes to Riot at the end. One dies in the middle because the host can't handle it. So
Okay.
they have to find perfect matches. So Eddie Brock is a perfect match for the Venom symbiote, so they bond. Riz Ahmed's character bonds with the Riot thing, and one guy dies. So there's only these 2
But
left.
no,
Now
no,
here's
no.
the thing. Now Riot's character is the leader
Sure.
of these symbiotes,
Sure.
and his goal is to, and Riz Ahmed's goal, okay, Riz Ahmed wants to basically go and inhabit different planets, and he
Right.
says we can't do it as human beings,
We need the
but maybe
symbiotes.
we need a symbiote host so that we can bond with them and live over there. Similarly, this guy is like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll do that, but we need to go and get more symbiotes. But what Riot's plan is to bring more symbiotes on Earth and conquer the planet. That's it.
But does Riot knows about Mr. Ahmed beforehand?
I don't know
No,
if
he just
Why is
bonds
he-
with him.
No, but that's my
But
question.
then
He
why
lands
did he
in
go to San
Malaysia. Why did he
Francisco?
decide to catch a flight?
using an old lady.
Oh,
Why
nobody.
did he stay in Malaysia?
Oh,
Because
no one
he
is saying
knew-
this
Why
is
did
a
he stay in
good-
Malaysia?
No one is-
This lady saw the news and thought, oh, there's this guy building stuff
Correct,
for the Life
correct. Yeah,
Foundation.
that's right. Yeah, sorry.
There
no,
we go.
Sorry, let me
Old
put
lady
this.
watch
The
TV.
weirdest.
No, no.
No, then?
This didn't actually happen.
Oh, then?
This is me justifying it.
What?
Wait, there wasn't a scene like this?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn.
So
you
wait
think
a
like,
minute. Okay.
It
Here's what I
wasn't
saw,
an
guys,
apocalypse
guys.
situation where he
Okay.
held a TV and went like, learn.
No, by our powers combined, we can do this because old lady and little girl. Leading up until Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, why did they come
have
to
a
San
total,
Francisco?
They have a total of 60
Because-
seconds of screen time. We can break this down. Tell me
Yeah.
what I missed. Here's what I caught. I watched the first scene I saw with the bad guy.
Oh, maybe because
is in
it
a
sensed
market.
that the other symbiotes were there.
Do
in
they?
San
No,
Francisco.
he's just making this
You're
up.
just making shit up right now.
No, I'm conjecturing
Yeah, it's
with
conjecture.
my friends.
Yeah, but that's pointless because
Because
this movie is bad.
all I saw was old lady in a market looking very ominous, and I was like, "Oh, this old lady's up to some shit."
I feel like
and
that
then
she did
kills,
see
and
some
she
TV
kills her
screen.
mother, and then she kills some bitches, and then
Dude,
she
did she
ends up
not-
She eats some
and then she
eels,
walks
no?
away.
Yeah, she
she
eats
eats
some
eels and
eels.
walks away. I was like, "Okay, cool. What are you doing?" Then I see she's at an airport. I'm like, "Oh, why are you at an airport?" And then she's getting on a plane. Why are you getting on a plane? Then she gets off the plane. She goes to a kid. I'm like, "Why are you going to
What
the
if she
kid?"
got off in San Francisco and there's a guy outside with a board up going like, Riot? Riot? So you're Mr. Riot?
So there was no. So what? Tell me, what scene did I miss?
Nothing.
Of old lady.
1 second,
Nothing.
nothing. It's
What
only,
happened with old lady?
It's only montages of her like walking from point A to point B. That's it.
No, so Riot lands and immediately old lady's right by where
No,
Riot
I'll tell you what
lands.
happens. It
Yeah.
lands, the plane crash lands basically.
And kills
there's
John
a, there's
Jameson.
the last guy.
Ah.
And while in the ambulance, the person who's in the ambulance gets the symbiote from Jameson
Cool.
to her. That's it.
And the
then
person in the ambulance goes to
and
old
the,
lady.
And the ambulance crashes. She walks to the nearest village. Somebody's
Sees-
serving eels.
sees old
She
lady.
kills people who are in the village.
Ah.
She sees the old lady, takes her form, and the old lady goes to America.
Hey, listen.
So San Francisco never enters the equation.
No.
It's
This
either
movie
because
is
she
so-
saw TV
This
or
movie
because
is
he
so
sensed that there are
bad.
other symbiotes
It is
in San
so
Francisco.
bad.
Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll come back and I'll bring up some more things.
Hey, everybody, it's another great week on IVM Podcast. Please make sure you're following us on social media. If you're not, we're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, please do make sure that you give us a rating or a review for whatever show you enjoy. It's really helpful when we get those kinds of ratings. And also, please make sure that you spread the word about podcasting. That's something that I think is really, really important to the ecosystem, right? The more that you let people know that you're enjoying podcasts and what kind of podcasts you're enjoying, the more likely we are to get more and more people on board. This week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by adman and author Ambi Parmesaran. Ambi talks about what he learned from the prominent people he has met and also how things will change in the advertising world in the light of the Me Too movement. On Croc Tales, listen to 2 standalone stories by Anand based on the concept of love, lust and relationships. On the Pragati podcast, Pawan and Hamsi talk to the co-founder and editor-in-chief of the News Minute, Dhanya Rajendran, about online journalism and building a digital news platform. On The Kinetic Living, Urmi spoke to Nikki Gupta, the owner of the Italian bistro Mia Cucina. Nikki shares her experience of training for the Mount Everest base camp and how it changed her perception towards fitness. This week, Anugrah Srivastav from Small Case talks to Anupam about all-weather investing and why it's important to investors. And with that, let's continue on with the shows.
We're back. Now, I have a couple of questions. Why does Venom keep saying, hey, if you want to destroy me, either use fire or sound between 4,000 to 6,000 hertz?
He's a sound engineer.
He keeps mentioning it. Yeah. It's like, hey, what's up? My name is Venom. By the way, if you want to kill me, you can use sound
He only says it twice, but...
That's twice too many
No,
times.
but he's telling it to Eddie Brock.
Very specific.
No, but he's telling Eddie Brock, who is his, his host, man.
They're in a car with Michelle Williams, right? And he tells Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock's like, what? Oh yeah, okay, sound between 4,000 to 6,000 hertz kills him.
Oh god.
And then he goes like, no, also fire. And Eddie Brock's also fire, sorry, my bad.
Man, yeah.
It's like those little bands that you have to have in case you faint on the street and it says like, to revive me, please do so and so. This is the opposite. There's a band going like, if you want to kill me, please use sound.
My god.
So when he said that, I was thinking, I don't know why I was thinking about it like this. I was like, okay, so what connects that sound wave and fire? And all I could think about was kinetic energy moving molecules. Because that's what happens when you heat shit up, your molecules,
Fair enough.
right? So I was like, okay, so if you shake him really, really fast, he might implode.
That's
Maybe
a great deduction, Jishnu. Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You just vibrate the guy. Just
Sound is vibrations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so is fire.
And
Fire is not vibrations.
Fire is like molecules moving really quick. That makes heat, friction, energy.
But it's not vibration.
It's kinetic energy.
Heat is molecules moving
yes,
really
exactly.
fast.
But fire is not. Fire is combustion.
I mean, fire is also
Fire
that.
is heat.
Yes, but
fire is two things.
Heat
Heat
leads
and
to
light.
fire. Heat leads to fire. Things can be hot without fire.
yeah. So then, how will it
We're not
lead to
doing
fire?
this.
Things can be hot without fire. That's
Yeah.
why heat doesn't have to lead to fire.
Correct. Heat doesn't
Heat will
always...
eventually lead to fire. Enough heat
no,
will-
no, only
Why
solid
would you
combust.
heat
Yeah,
steel
yeah.
to like insane
You
amounts.
can melt
It'll get-
stuff without fire, dude.
Yeah.
But
Think about
Venom,
some byproducts.
if you shake a dude, he will eventually combust.
Oh my god.
Probably
Right?
because of friction between him and the atmosphere.
Correct.
That's how combustion. That's why spaceships
And
catch
re-entering.
on fire. On
The
re-entry.
thing that you missed in the beginning of the film, by the way.
So they were talking about combustion.
Here's
no,
my
okay. Oh, yeah.
Other question.
Yeah, go.
At one point,
I will answer all your questions. Give
Riz
me.
Ahmed is the worst villain on earth.
He's the worst.
Oh,
There's a point
He is
where
absolutely
he's
the
just
worst.
like looking at one of the test subjects and goes like, such
It's
poor
amazing.
design.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, what a terrible line. But that's not enough. The tech goes like, what do you mean? And he's like, humans. Like, oh, you had to spell out how bad your
Man,
line
and that's
was?
the other thing. Also, few things in the beginning when the spaceship is crashing, suddenly somebody's walking in and just being like, oh, get me up to speed. What, you wouldn't be there when your spaceship is landing on Earth or what? It's so dumb. So many things are so stupid in this movie and so by the book 2000. If this movie, again, like Justice League, if this movie released in 2001,
Yeah.
it'll be a fucking smash hit.
Exactly.
It'll be so good.
Because all you need is Venom and the end credit song which exists.
Oh my god.
There's an end credit
Oh,
song.
yeah, the Eminem
It's
song.
so bad.
Yeah.
It's
Where he
so bad.
actually raps the
says-
story of the movie.
I love that he said the word, he says the word Venom.
Venom in it, yeah.
And he
That's the
means
story of the
Venom.
movie. Yeah.
Oh
He
my
doesn't
god.
mean, he doesn't
It's-
mean venomous. No, he means a dude.
The dude.
The dude.
And he says symbiote and stuff.
It's
in
a
the
movie
fucking
soundtrack
rap.
from the 2000s. This movie crash landed from the early 2000s.
My god. I can't get over how terrible it was.
You know,
I was
one
watching-
level
My
of
God.
detail I really appreciated.
Yeah.
In both the labs where either Michelle Williams or some lab technician accidentally turns up the volume to make our man shake.
Yeah.
They're turning up a really high-end Apollo sound card. I was
Yeah,
like, damn, man.
I know,
that's
right?
interesting. That's
Like a
like,
nice
yo.
twin.
I was
Or
like,
like an
damn,
Apogee
that's
or
like Apogee
something.
duet
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I don't know what that was, but it was
Yeah.
like, damn, listen.
That's
what are
a
you
good enough.
tracking?
And also she's like, I told you I could fight dirty. I was like, how do you know to do this? How was there one
Because-
knob over there which says sound?
She literally is a rocket scientist.
She's not.
No, she's a lawyer.
Who is a rocket scientist?
Yes.
She's a lawyer in the film. It is nuts. Oh my god. And then there's he breaks into this lab okay, and takes all these photographs and whatever and leaves. And they're still asking people, what, you don't have CCTV or what in this place? Like, literally, there's so many dumb things in this movie.
It's a very dumb movie.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I'm sorry.
I would highly recommend watching this movie alone.
It cannot be
omit some
defended.
parts of it. I think it's for your own benefit. I give it an 8 on 10. Thank you for listening.
I mean, you should.
Oh my
This
god.
has been the Geek
I felt
podcast.
very zen and meditative, guys. I'll just say it. Like, that was one of the most. The last movie I saw, by the way, I can recall. The last movie I saw by myself for this podcast was Warcraft.
No, it was Cool, the movie.
Yeah, it was in the comfort of my own home.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no, you mean like by yourself, you're saying?
Yeah, the last movie I saw for
You saw
this
Warcraft
show.
by yourself?
Yeah.
I
Because
saw it.
we did a double episode. We did like 2 movies. You saw
Yeah.
one and I saw Warcraft.
Warcraft
What did you
and
say?
it was called
Something-
War something. That's
No,
what it was.
Assassin's Creed.
No, that was
No?
that was Passengers in Assassin's Creed.
Oh. What did you see?
We saw something else. I can't
Something-
remember.
anyway, this was
Angry
a-
Birds. I think.
No.
What?
Yeah, I think
Jesus.
so, yeah.
No, we would
Man-
never do that.
Man,
We've done Angry
talked-
Birds.
We've done an
We've-
episode. We've
what?
We talk about some weird shit
we've
on
done
this show.
some
Have you
weird
heard our
shit.
show? It's pretty weird. We talk about weird
When
shit.
did we ever do Angry
We've
Birds?
done it. I saw the movie for that. So
It was a dark day. It was dark times.
I see.
It was all very bad.
But yeah, between watching Warcraft and watching this movie, this was just I felt good about myself.
Much better, right?
I'll tell you how bad this movie is. The post-credit sequence is the best thing about it.
Because
the
it's
second
completely
one. Because
different.
it's a different movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of the post-credit scene, so obviously we were all looking forward to some sort of carnage thingamajig.
Yeah. Also,
but here's
how
the thing.
on
Here's the
the
thing. Hang on.
effing nose is
Oh,
that
yeah.
there's gonna be.
Yes, of
Dun,
course.
dun, dun,
But
carnage.
however,
And then he turns to camera and goes like, "'Cause that's my name, you see."
Do you get it?
but
Also, if you
No.
want to kill me,
stop it today itself.
Okay.
As fun as Carnage is, as hilarious as Woody Harrelson might make it,
With
as
red
much as
hair.
we love that wig,
He looks exactly like the comic book character,
yes.
like Cletus Cassidy.
However, it's gonna be the exact same movie because it's more Venom's.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So why
No,
would like,
unless,
it's, what is
unless
going to
you-
be different? Is there going to be
they
another
need to
Riz Ahmed?
change the tone of the movie. It should not be about like anything of any consequence. Like it should not be any high stakes. Like I know there's a serial killer in the next one, but it should be like more about like Venom. You know, they actually nailed Venom in many ways. Like his silliness, his goofiness. It's pretty on point.
They got
like,
that.
I think they got that right. But they don't know what to do with this character,
Okay,
man.
then tell me
They have
this.
such a good character. man.
Here's,
They don't know
here's
what to do
something
with.
I found myself thinking with the minute that they started having like back and forth conversations, Eddie Brock and Venom. I was like, wow, this is literally the Hulk again. But
It
I
is
like it more
Hulkish.
because he's got
More
more
personality,
vocabulary.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
and you
So,
can
but
actually
you
have
tell me,
back and forth.
But now tell me, is that true at all to the comic? Like, when you read Venom comics and you see the Hulk, do you see that similarity? Because on screen I saw I was like, wow, this is literally Mark Ruffalo's story.
No, I think it's different. I think the Hulk, see, in the comics, at least now, the best thing about the Hulk is that he can go between being Bruce Banner and the Hulk at any point in time. And he's not even the Hulk right now. It's the other guy. Can't remember. The small kid, a scientist guy, Asian guy. But Venom, actually the story of Venom is pretty tragic. Like, I mean, I was speaking to Dinkar about this the other day, but like, the story is like, he gets this symbiote, right? And he's, what do you call it? Like, he bonds with it. And the thing is, Eddie Brock is like a host until Venom meets Spider-Man. And then Venom sees that Peter Parker is a much better host, which is why he gets the black.
It's a
And
love triangle.
And it's a love triangle,
that's
essentially.
cool.
Yeah, and
That's
the thing
neat.
is that Eddie Brock has always been a loser his entire life. He's been a failure at everything.
So he's jealous of
He's
Peter.
always jealous. And even when this happens, right, like
That's
the
fun.
symbiote also wants to desert him, and finally gives it back because Eddie Brock like develops like a tumor, like a cancer thing. And the only thing that can keep him alive is the symbiote. And because Spider-Man doesn't want the symbiote will die by itself, so he bonds back with Eddie Brock. And that's what keeps them together. They don't actually really want to be there. It's a really good story.
That's cool.
In the comics. But
you see how it depends almost entirely on Venom's relation to Spider-Man?
yeah, I agree. I think,
Right. No,
but
see,
it's
see,
not
but
impossible
here's
to
the
do a
thing.
good
It's
story.
not impossible, no. But
So here's
yeah.
here's what I'm hearing from what you just said. I like that. I mean, obviously that's good. That's warranted a comic series for as long as it has. So that is good, no doubt. But I also, like I said, I enjoyed the Eddie Brock story up
Correct.
until he had an antagonist, because I thought the antagonist was a shitty antagonist. But
Yes.
the problem that he had to deal with, which is I'm invaded by this alien and I'm now at its mercy. But the alien is also kind of a cool alien.
Cool guy, yeah.
I feel like that
He's an
was
empathetic alien.
That's the
I
best
enjoyed
part about
that.
it. Yeah,
I
I
enjoyed
agree.
that.
Agree.
Which is a juxtaposition to what we're used to seeing, at least when I say we, being like most audiences today are used to seeing the Hulk story, which is, I don't want this guy, get him away from me. And now finally he's sort of learning to come to grips with dealing with the Hulk.
Yeah, but that's like many movies later.
But that's like 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
The fact that, like, 10 minutes into being, incepted with an alien being, the guy's like, I think I can argue this guy down.
Yeah. Almost
I thought
immediately.
that was cool.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm
it
excited.
is,
I'm excited to
definitely.
see that continue. I'm not excited to see Carnage being
Exactly.
more Venoms is fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
No,
that,
and you know what? You're
you know.
right. In the sense that, yes, the Eddie Brock part of it is interesting. What I meant by I'm saying that the movie got infinitely better the moment Venom got into it is because I'm talking about that character, that side of him. Because Eddie Brock, I think he's wasted in this movie. Like, he's a really good actor, but I don't think the script gave him enough, like...
Oh, totally.
He's not charming.
Tom
he's
Hardy
not,
is far better than this
Yeah,
movie.
he's far better than this movie, of course,
Everybody,
right?
I think, is far better than this movie.
Exactly.
Let them be. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
all the actors in this film are much better, right?
Yeah.
But, like, he's given this role. I think what drew him to the role was obviously this duality and being able to voice Venom also. And, and so I think that's pretty interesting for an actor.
You misspelled Bucks.
Bucks also, of course. But he's done Bucks before, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's done comic book movies. He's Bane, who uses Venom, guys, for his... Anyway. But the other thing is that Tom Hardy, I think he didn't know what to do with the Eddie Brock part of it. Like, his character's not fleshed out as well. Like, yeah, he's a journalist, he's an investigative journalist, but he's also like this biker dude. I'm sure you can be both
But
these days.
also,
It's
he's
cool.
a loser. He's a dude who has
Yeah,
a
but he's a
TV show
loser.
and rides a bike, but he's a loser?
Yeah, so it's very confusing, man. Like, I didn't really know, is this guy famous? Is he popular? Is he not? Is he, like,
He
good at
is,
his job?
dude,
Is he
like,
bad at his
people-
job? Like, what is it? Like...
From what I saw, he's pretty bad at his job. He
I
stole
mean,
confidential documents from his girlfriend and then just like threw out the question like,
Yeah,
what about the dead bodies,
there
man?
There's nothing nuanced about that. Like, it was so rushed. And I
He's
guess
in
because
Arnab.
He's in Arnab Goswami.
Yeah, like he just shouted out the question.
Yeah.
And went like,
Hey,
what?
San Francisco wants to know.
Yeah, San Francisco.
But speaking
wants
of
to
him
know.
living like a loser, now that I think about it, can you name me a single Marvel superhero who lives in New York,
Yeah.
who is middle class?
Look, Peter Parker, dude.
No,
Yeah.
but that's not on his own dime. That's like he's living with his parent or his aunt rather.
No, he doesn't live with his aunt. After he...
No, I'm talking cinematic universe
Oh.
of Marvel represented.
Well, you're talking
movies.
about like downtown Manhattan kind of stuff, right?
Everybody that lives in New York
Yeah.
in superhero land is either a billionaire or broke and like a loser
Luke
type.
Cage. Yeah.
There's no
Oh,
one
you're
who's
saying who's middle class?
Who's middle class? Who's somebody that has like a pretty decent, living
Like
and
a smallish but comfortable apartment.
yeah.
What about like Matt Murdock has got it down, man. I mean, he's in dire straits right now.
He
but
struggles a bit.
He's on the fence.
he also got a good deal because of that neon sign that he can't see.
Yeah. Loopholes.
yeah.
Cinematically speaking,
Dude,
Bill
Doctor
Gates,
Strange,
yeah.
man. Oh, Doctor Strange is
He's
loaded.
kind of a
rich.
billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least millionaire.
in the millions.
In the millions.
For sure.
Yeah, who else is middle class? Come on.
Nobody. That's the thing. I can't
there's
think
gotta
of
be.
anybody.
I guess Bruce Banner, because he's not
We
rich.
haven't
He's-
seen his
Bruce,
place.
yeah, we have.
He
Yeah.
doesn't
But he's
have-
got to be, right? He's
gotta be- he's gotta be.
poor
He's
But
because
he's
he's
employed by
people.
S.H.I.E.L.D., so...
He lives on the Quinjet.
Is S.H.I.E.L.D. a good paymaster? That's the question.
Yeah, are they one of the top employees in the world?
Everybody that works at Shield, as
How
far
much
as I
does
know,
your boy
lives in the
Coulson
Shield.
make?
Exactly.
He must be
Everybody.
comfortably middle class.
He's in Hawaii right now for the
Again?
second time. Yeah.
You mean Tahiti?
Not Tahiti, just Hawaii, because they have to make the distinction.
Right.
Because Tahiti is not all it seems, guys.
Correct, yeah, that we know.
But as far as I know, everybody that works at Shield lives at Shield.
Did you see one of our YouTube comments on the Nerdatorium? by the
I
way?
saw all of them. By the way, guys, I love you so much.
Somebody said the two dislikes are from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans.
And the only comments.
You mean Jishnu disliked it twice?
The only comments on that episode about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is amazing. Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Dinkar? Yes, my people.
He once disliked it from his account
Okay,
and once on
fine,
the Geek
Jishnu. You
account.
set up a bunch of fake accounts. You created identities. I'm pretty sure you created this
These-
entire show.
We
The
are
whole thing.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
They're all life model decoys. Okay.
You never see them and Jishnu in the same room. He has to, he always makes an excuse and leaves just before the other guy walks in.
Oh, God. Guys, we should take a break.
All right.
Come back. Let's conclude Venom and maybe talk about the future for the franchise and how Sony's going to navigate it
Maybe
with
let's
Marvel.
talk about... Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
And then let's see what happens after.
गिव मी अ वर्ड या कोई भी लाइन कुछ भी हो सकता है यार क्या कहा आपने टोपी ओके मोहन जोशी हेटेड वेयरिंग टोपीज ही फेल्ट सफोकेटेड इन देम टोपी पहनते ही उसे स्कूल की याद आती थी वेयर ऑफ कोर्स ही हैड नो चॉइस बट टू वेयर अ टोपी वह जिस दिन पास आउट हुआ उसी दिन उसने अपनी टोपी का बॉनफायर बना दिया एंड सिंस देन ही नेवर वर्न अ कैप और अ हैट ना कड़कती धूप में and not even to बचो from the thandi. But from Monday 26th February, Mohan Joshi had to wear a topi all the time. Why? Because if he didn't, everyone around him knew exactly what kya soch raha tha. They knew that he was wondering how the girl in the yellow churidar would look bina kapde ke. They knew when he was calling the boss a sadela tomato. They knew everything. पर ये सब हुआ कैसे? अरे भाई, यही तो स्टोरी है. और ये स्टोरी आप ही ने मुझे दिया by giving me the starting word. यही तो है The Croc's Tales. Words आपके, कहानी आपके लिए. Catch the stories on Monday and Thursday on the IVM website, app, and anywhere you get your podcast from. See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Venom. Why?
Tell me what you think this movie could have done to be any good.
Okay, here's what I think the Venom movie should have been. Okay, good start. Eddie Brock casts the Venom character. No life foundation, no riot, nothing. But should have been more of a story about how Venom and Eddie Brock need each other to survive. That's what the movie should have been.
The symbiosis of the symbiote.
Man, they kept saying, and there's one line in the movie where I was literally the only person who cheered in the cinema, where it says, symbiosis is achieving. And I was like, yes, we are. Sorry, because
we're from symbiosis, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, man, I don't think it should have been about any of this life foundation nonsense. Some people are saying, oh, he's supposed to be Elon Musk. I was like, how?
He's not. It's just a snarky joke.
What, just like a person who does science for a living? What?
In that vein, Tony Stark is also Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's better at Elon Musk than
he was modeled. This version was modeled. That Elon Musk is in Iron Man 2. Anyway, but man, ridiculous movie, dude. Sorry. Okay, this is what I think the movie should have been. Yeah. And I didn't mind the relationship.
By focusing on the symbiosis.
You know what was even better? Like the few lines where he's just like, oh, we're gonna get Annie back and stuff like that. That was hilarious. I was like, cool, this is such a good idea. He's like a wingman, pretty much, to get his girl back. I thought was great. Yeah. That was solid.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Squandered. And you know, Tom Hardy said that's about 20-30 minutes. Already this movie is about 2 hours, 20 minutes long, okay? And he said there's 20-30 minutes of...
40.
Or something, something like that, close to that, which was edited from this film, which is all the good stuff, right? Which is probably all the interactive bits between Venom and him, which I thought was the most entertaining bits of the film. In fact, it could have passed as a light buddy cop, funny movie, and instead they had to go hyper serious with Riz Ahmed's character and this whole, spiel about we're trying to, go on, live in other planets. I'm like, f*** that. Nobody wants to know about that shit.
This brings us to our thesis, which I think is that there's a lot of studio business happening here. Because doesn't this feel like such a Sony movie from the 2000s?
Oh my god. I was like, what the closest...
Sony all over
what this movie would fit perfectly well in, right? The Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Yes.
Isn't that
exactly
true?
Yeah. It's as random, it seems as disjointed. It just seems like a bunch of focus tested stuff where they went alright, take out all the cool, weird, quirky stuff, put in all the boilerplate stuff. And do you notice how the climax kind of just suddenly happens? And then it's done, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And they're the one big line that Riot says is something like, get in the plane. And I'm like, he's not your kid. He's like...
It's so silly, man.
Get in the rocket, whatever.
The other thing is, there is no, how they suddenly get to the rocket scene, without... anything happens. But it feels like they haven't learned that lesson from Amazing Spider-Man, right? Did you ever read that email which had all Feige's notes on Amazing Spider-Man? Mm-hmm. It's brilliant, right? So when the Sony leaks happened, somebody leaked this email, which was just pointers. It was at least 2 or 3 pages of just bullet points from Kevin Feige about Amazing Spider-Man and how Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think, and how these are the things you need to change. And it was not, he didn't have any say on it, but they asked him and he's like, here my point. If you read that, you know that Kevin Feige knows these characters so well, right? He puts out points saying, oh, Peter Parker would never say that. Andrew Garfield is a bit whiny. He's very different from scene to scene, so it doesn't have really consistency.
That's because they shot that movie 6 years apart.
He brings up all the points which are really which are so crucial for that movie for its failure, because it just goes anywhere. Like this whole Richard Parker, his parents and all that stuff. Didn't need to get into that, but they did. Similarly here in Venom, getting into stuff that they really didn't give the movie any more, it didn't need it. It would have been really refreshing to see an origin story which didn't have a villain in it, okay, which didn't have a life-threatening or a high-stakes plot. Just a thing about Venom. The movie's called Venom, make it about him. He's a completely new character. Didn't do it.
I also feel like another direction they could have gone, though what they could have done was go the other way completely and make Venom a proper all-out villain. Like they said, the world has enough superheroes.
Yeah.
Maybe try something really different. Like make him a bad guy, let the bad guy win. You're not...
But he's not a bad guy, that's the
Yes,
thing. Even in the comics, he's
agreed.
not a bad guy. Like he's lesser of a... He's like a Punisher, but even less lethal in that sense. He's more of a goofy alien dude. And that's his best moments in the comic books have been when he's like a goofy sidekick
But when he's
to
in Eddie
Spider-Man.
Brock Venom, correct?
Yeah.
He could have, basically talk about this evil that has invaded the Earth.
Yeah.
And then like go forth with that. And maybe the only way it can kind of be contained is by being a bit of a loser with Eddie Brock.
No, you're absolutely right. There is one line in the movie which I thought about where he says, when the doctor, whatever her name is, that
Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate,
Jenny Slate comes up to him and says, hey, I need your help, blah, blah, blah. This is when he approached him at the grocery.
Mm-hmm.
And he says something about, this is not my problem anymore. The world is shat on me, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not my problem. And from there, they maybe could have gotten into an arc where it's like literally about him not like there are enough good people in the world. You're right. Yeah. And
it would have been interesting.
Would have
more than
definitely,
superhero movies, I think it's more that the world has had, we have enough cataclysmic movies.
You're right.
Just because you have a superhero or super
alien
super person doesn't mean that the problem has to be earth shattering.
Yeah, they could have made like Paul or something, just that kind of alien, something.
No, even if your alien is like a full-blown, monster alien that like bites heads off people and is like evil to an extent. Yeah, that doesn't mean that the antagonist has to be literally world-ending.
Yeah.
Like it can just be like, here's a bad guy who's messing things up and is going to make life hard for Eddie Brock specifically. That's enough motivation for this character to get invested.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean the entire fate of humanity hinges on this dude.
Yeah.
Because this dude doesn't seem... I don't think this dude would want to save 6 billion people.
Yeah, he doesn't
I
care.
can see him getting there, but they didn't show that.
Yeah,
They
that's
just
what I mean.
suddenly
This dude now in this story that we have, he's not going to do that.
You're right. And the other thing is like the only reasons why some of these heroes even get together is when it's something as life-threatening as the snap or that's the only reason why. Otherwise, why would you give an F? And that's absolutely true.
I am giving an F to this movie.
Hey, what happened to your 8, bro? I thought you would mean...
I think it's a fun ride. I watched it in a theatre full of people with friends, fairly fresh, and everyone was laughing their heads off. And I had a fun time.
I was with my flatmates, dude. We had a ball.
Fun.
But at the expense of the movie, we were like, this is so bad, it's funny. There's this one moment
and
which is
place
straight out of a Salman Khan, Rohit Shetty film where he jumps off, he takes the bike and it goes into the air and he's like, and we're just watching. I was like, oh my god, this is a Salman Khan film.
It is
and it's like, this is race 3, and then he grabs the bike back. And I was just like, why was this a moment that needed to be showcased?
People started clapping when that happened in
Are
our
you
theatre. And here's what's amazing. They were clapping sarcastically. Wow, well done. Chalo.
And every time, it'll be slow motion. Oh, what is he going to do? Oh, he uses the symbiote.
What's everything slow motion all the time?
Yeah, you beat me over the head.
He has one move.
He has one move. Yeah, he has one move. I'm saying, God, so
there are still a lot of plot holes. So, why?
No. The movie is a plot hole.
Yeah, don't even
the
open
movie is a
box.
plot
Don't
hole.
open that box.
No. Okay, let me put it this way. I think for a future for this film, and this may be Sony's meddling. Did you laugh as hard as I did when they showed the Marvel logo
and then said in association with?
I missed it.
Oh yeah,
I missed it.
All right.
Oh, dude,
So they do the
great.
comic book flip logo, and it's like
Full plane?
yeah.
Oh wow.
And then they
exactly as is?
No, not the
It is
MCU opening, which is the not that one. Just the flip, the comic flip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they pull out to reveal the
and
logo,
just on
and then
top
on
it
top of
comes
it, in like
It's
little
like
text.
it's shameless.
cute.
It's
That's
like
adorable.
they rendered the entire file. And they were like, "Fuck, bhul gaya," and then somebody went and did another export on top of that
Just
export.
like
I swear,
exported from PowerPoint.
dude. I swear, it's so bad. Anyway,
It's so cute.
yeah.
But speaking to the meddling of the Soniness and the whole thing, one thing I found really dumb, but also good, is the cop-out ending of, like you mentioned, the climax. The last line that is said, it was kind of like as he's walking down the street, he's like, okay, cool, so now what? When he helps out old lady Chen or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
He tells Venom, all right, cool, so now I've explained to you good guys versus bad guys. We need to make that assessment, differentiation.
Yeah.
So he asks Venom, now what? Venom's like, we can do anything. I was like, well, that's really dumb because that's not saying anything. However, that is nice and open so that,
Tom Holland can
circa
go in, yeah.
2020, 2022, you can just be like, we are here now, MCU, deal with it. Okay, cool. I'll be very happy with that. I won't mind it at all.
I want to
think he's
see
gonna
Tom
be a
Holland
great...
in this. I think both the Toms, Hardy and Holland,
I think
will be great together. This
Hardy
is what I expect.
I really want to see Ruffalo and Hardy together now because I want to see that yin and yang of like.
I don't know if he's allowed to come
we're
into
really
that
seeing
universe.
a future
Right?
for this
It could.
franchise.
I think
though?
you could.
Okay, one second.
I'm all for it.
This movie
If
has
only
done.
if Tom Hardy's the guy.
Yeah,
I
correct.
really liked him a lot. I think.
Yeah,
Give him the right script.
If he Edward
give him
Norton's
the right
in,
story.
suck, yeah.
Yeah.
But so having said that, this movie has made bank at the box office.
It
right?
has?
It's
Yeah,
only,
it's
but
done
it's
really
only
well.
it's only a weekend. So,
But
it's done 30 mil more than they thought it would.
Yeah.
But it's still like
That's pure Tom Hardy power,
yeah.
right?
But so
Right.
that's just on like namesake. Now because it's got such shitty reviews, the question is will it continue?
No, but one of the things is that the Rotten Tomatoes audience score and the critic score are vastly different this time as well.
Yeah, I
So-
think a lot of audiences
yeah,
are
everyone's
just...
going in for it saying, no man, it's actually quite fun, it's quite good. Yeah, it's fun like Alvin and the Chipmunks is fun, but like, is it good? Is it like what we need like right now in the superhero genre? No, it adds nothing to the canon of like films that we've
That we
seen.
knew before this movie was even made,
No,
though.
we don't. I mean, we don't know that, right? Like, maybe they could have gone down one of these two paths which we suggested,
Yeah.
right? On a whim, which we suggested, which is already a better idea, right? Okay, and now, so they could have done it. They didn't do it. Fine. Okay, they don't. This can be that Captain America: The First Avenger, right? And that movie is far superior than this, and that was still not as good as they could have done. Now they can just do Tom Holland's character entering this universe. I don't think Venom is allowed to go into the MCU, by the way.
Not yet.
But what? When Walt Disney buys Sony?
As of now, it's only
I'm not putting
Sony
it past
saying
it,
that
man.
these movies are connected to the MCU. Marvel
MCU is just like,
maintains
yeah,
like a
sure.
yeah.
Just head down. If Sony and Marvel went to the same party, they would be like, oh, I don't know that guy.
Yeah. And Sony would be like, that's
that's
my
my
boyfriend. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
We've been dating for like 3 years, and I was like, oh, I'm not with that. I'm not with that guy.
Yeah. No, but so I think it's the other way around. I think Spider-Man can enter this universe because that's the deal that they have, but not the other way around. And that's why they made this movie PG-13, so that it wouldn't be a big dissonance when.
Why would you remake Venom without Topher Grace? The best Venom.
I'll tell you why. Because Topher Grace was actually pretty good. Eddie Brock, he wasn't bad, but his Venom was shite.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy's Venom, like the fact that he's voicing him also, pretty good.
But
and
when
he's a good Venom.
Spider-Man gets Venomized, is one of the greatest moments in cinematic history, of course.
That's true, because
Yes,
it's emo
because
Spidey.
it's emo Spidey,
Dude,
with some slick moves.
Okay, so let's talk about the post-credit sequence. Obviously, one is with Cletus Cassidy. That's Carnage. That's fine. The last one is they enter into the Spider-Verse, which is really, really interesting because they were like, oh, what do we do? Throw in a scene. I almost didn't want to watch it because I was just like, okay, cool, we're watching essentially a scene from the movie. But, which I was okay, but I was so tempted to watch it that I ended up doing it anyway. And that, 1 minute, 2 minute segment is just obviously better than the entire film. It's amazing. This movie is going to be really, really good. But do you think that there is a connection between that universe and this universe? Because they say meanwhile in a different universe. So do you think they'll try and like...
I thought it was just a very blatant
plug
of like, guys, we knew that was kind of meh, but here's another thing we got.
But
So
don't
how
give
about
up on
that?
us
Yeah,
yet.
don't give up on
So
us yet.
true.
We're doing another one.
Okay,
but it's
yeah.
clearly not connected at all, right? Because they're saying another universe.
Yeah.
So this is one
But
of
I
the
mean, no,
universes in the Spider-Verse,
correct, yeah.
but I'm guessing there's no crossover at any point.
Also, wouldn't it be lovely if Tobey Maguire was in this movie, man? Why couldn't they just make Tobey Maguire?
What's Toby up to?
He's killing it, dude.
What does he do?
Is
he killing it?
I mean, like, he's killing
I haven't
it.
seen him
I've
in
not seen him in a
anything.
while, but I saw him in that last movie. He wasn't in Gatsby. That's the last thing I saw him in.
That was years ago, right?
It
It was
years
like,
ago.
ages
was
ago.
years
That was
ago.
like,
Yeah.
feels like
I
4
can't
or
remember
5 years
anything
ago.
after
5, 6
Gatsby.
maybe, yeah.
Come back, Toby. We miss you.
Toby is my boy, dude.
He's
and
great.
the fact that they've referenced all the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies in the trailer for Spider-Verse,
yeah.
that's brilliant. Like,
That's great.
I love that. I mean, I love that they're paying respect to that. That's the one, man. That's the one that made me, like, believe in this shit. So,
And Venom is the one that undid it.
no, man, I think Spider-Verse will be great.
Spider-Verse looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Nicolas
there is
Cage,
hope
man, so many
yet.
good- Yeah. It's still a good time to be a Spider-Man fan. I don't know about Venom. But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man's killed it in the movies and in the video games and now it's animated
They
thing.
still plan to go ahead with this
Venom
franchise of the Venomverse, which is basically villains without Spider-Man.
Correct. So they were supposed to make a Sinister Six movie, and I think that also got shelved.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that next plan is just to wait on what happens with Tom Holland's character.
I
from
think that
Far
makes
From Home.
way more sense. Just
Yeah.
chill out, man. Don't try and
Maybe
make
put in
more
a
Spider-Man
post-credit
stuff
in Far From Home or something. That would be cool.
Yeah,
That would be
fun.
nice.
with a VR Venom
With the
situation
VR
happening.
Venom,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they should just disavow this movie.
No.
Forget it ever happened.
No.
I don't think, see, you know what? He's right. I don't
The
think they should
universal
disavow.
dark universe. Just go
Look,
like,
Riz Ahmed's gone. Riz Ahmed's gone, right? So now all you're left with, all this movie has to continue with is just Eddie Brock.
It just
and he was
needed
the best
this
part of the
one guy.
movie.
Yeah,
so
it
like,
just
cool.
needed this.
I like the guy.
Yes.
I like the
Just
guy.
take-
Get him a better script and
Literally,
we're good.
just take Venom out and place him
And put
in
him
the
in- yes,
MCU.
fair enough.
Boom.
So that's all I want, and that's all we have.
I don't know if it'll happen, but
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least put the
It's
some of the
unlikely.
put the MCU in this Venom.
It's unlikely, but we have. It's possible.
All right.
It's the
We've
best
done
way going
We've
forward.
done enough damage. Nobody needs to talk about Venom for so long. We're going to shut this mother down. Let us know what you thought about Venom on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's at GeekFoodHQ. You can follow us on our individual Twitters, I suppose. But yeah, Geek Food is better probably.
Yeah, you can
and
follow us
and
anywhere.
also you can mail us, contactgeekfood@gmail.com, and we will see you in.
Another universe.
Okay. Have a nice life, you nerds.
Yeah. It's IVM here, let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day. Coming on this podcast cause we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Shunyawan, 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 Shunyawan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.